Welcome to the Upstart Crow's production of The Scottish Tragedy. We want to thank our sponsors. If you look at the back of your program, you'll find logos and ads and things like that. We especially want to thank SCFD for financial support and the Center for People with Disabilities, who provided us with rehearsal space. We also want to give a big thank you to Ed Castaldo, who stepped into the role of Macbeth about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little more than 2 weeks ago, when the actor who would have been playing Macbeth wound up in the hospital. Not COVID related, but speaking of COVID, dairy policy does require that audience keep their masks on throughout the performance. So masks on, phones off, and please enjoy the show.
Yeah! Yeah. Ah!
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun,
Where the place?
Upon the heath,
there to meet with Macbeth.
I come, grey muckin.
Paddock calls anon. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest sense.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hey, brave friend, speak to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy is he to be a rebel for the multiplying villainies of nature that swarm upon him. From the Western Isles, of crimson gallowglasses was supplied, and fortune, upon his damned pearls smiling, shone like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak. Brave Macbeth, worthy is he of that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smote with bloody execution like valor's minion, cut his pathway till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
As whence the sun begins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swelled. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valor over come, caused the skipping currents to trust their feet, than the Norwegian king, surveying vantage, with burnished arms and fresh supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Ah, yeah, like sparrows, eagles, or like hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so doubly they redoubled their blows upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee, as thy wounds, they smack of honor both. Go get him, surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
With a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where Norwayan banners flout the sky and ban our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, aided by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cotter, began a dismal conflict, till that Belana's bridegroom laughed in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness.
That now, Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he dispersed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cotter shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I, a rightly witch, the rope-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind,
And I another.
I myself have all the other. The very ports they blow, or the quarters that they know in the shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day fall upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. And though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The wayward sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I've not seen.
How far is it called to Sorus? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, yet are on it? Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace, and great prediction of noble having, and of royal hope that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can, look into the seeds of time, and say which grain will grow and which will not. Speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail.
Hail.
Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth. All hail!
Stay! You imperfect speakers, by Sinel's death, I know that I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cotter? Thane of Cotter lives, a prosperous gentleman. And to be king stands outside the prospect of belief. Say what you owe this strange intelligence, and why on this blasted heath you stop us with such prophetic readings. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And all things corporal melted like breath into the wind. Would that they have stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, was it not so?
To the self-same Julian words. Who's here?
The king had happily received Macbeth the news of thy success. When he reads thy personal venture in the rebel fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, and looking o'er the rest of the self-same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death, as thick as tale could post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and powered them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bid me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which edition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane, lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life, which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, without with both he labored in his country's wreck, I know not, but treason's capital confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Gloms. And Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thank you for your pains. Do you not hope that your children shall be kings when those that promised the Thane of Cawdor to me promise no less to them?
That, trusted home, might yet enkindle you unto the crown besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told. As happy prologue to the swelling act of imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why does it bear me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If ill, why do I yield to that suggestion that this image will just fix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. I thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes to my single state of man. That function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partners rapt.
If chance will have me king, then chance can crown me, without my stir.
New honors come upon him. Like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor, my dull brain is wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I leaf through the pages to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and more time having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor, or not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I did speak with one who saw him die, who did report that, very frankly, he confessed his treason, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving. He died as one who had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as if 'twere a careless triumph.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. I would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty that I owe, in doing so, pays itself. Your Highness's role is to accept our duties, and our duties are to throne and state, children and servants, which in doing what they should, do all that they must to that is safe for thy loyalty and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee, and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, you whose places are the nearest, know, we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor that is not used for you. I'll myself be the harbinger, and make joyful to my wife the notice of your coming. I'll take my leave.
My worthy Carter.
The Prince of Cumberland? That's a step on which I must fall down or else or leap. Stars, hide thy fires. Let light not see my black and deep desires. I wink in hand, and let that be the eye fears when come to be.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care has gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They have met me in the day of success, and I have learned that imperfect is report, that they have more in them than mortal knowledge. Whilst I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whilst I stood in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title these wayward sisters had saluted me before the coming on of time, and hail king that shalt be. I have thought good to deliver thee, so that thou might not lose the dues of rejoicing, and will not be lost in what is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet I do fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou wholly. Thou wouldst not play false, yet would wrongly win. Thou wouldst have great glams, but that which cries, if thou do it, thou have it. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits into thy ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to crown withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him? Who weren't so would have informed for preparations.
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending, he brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits, that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood and stop up the access of passage to remorse, that No compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep the peace between the effect and hint. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife sees not the wound it makes, nor heaven peeps the blanket to cry, hold, hold. Great crumbs, worthy Clogor, and greater than both by the all hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. My fame, your faces is a book where men may read strange matters to beguile the time. Look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the servant under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you will leave this night's great business into my dispatch, which to all our nights and days to come shall give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We shall speak further.
Only look up clear to alter favor, ever's to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting varlet, does approve by his love imaginary that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they must breed and haunt. I have observed the air is delicate.
See our honored hostess. The love that follows us, sometimes our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield you for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
As our service in every point twice done and then done double, we're poor and single business to contend with the honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old and late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hands.
Where's the Thane of Cotter? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
As our service ever your bears themselves and what is theirs in compt, to give audit to your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces toward him. By your leave, hostess.
Careful! Toast to victory!
To the Prince of Cumberland.
If it were done, when 'twere done, 'twere well it would be done quickly. The assassination could tremble up the consequence and catch with his surcease success. But this blow might be the be-all, the end-all. Here, but here on this bank and shore of time, we still have judgment here. But we teach bloody instructions, which being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double truce. First, we are his subjects, and his kinsmen. He's both strong against the deed, and as his host, we should not open the door for the murder, but bar it. Besides, this Duncan bears his faculties so weak. He's been so clear in his great office. His virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation it is taking off. like the naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye. Tears will drown the wind. I have no spur to prick my intent, only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He hath almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be now worn in their newest gloss, not put away so easily.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? That they wake now? Or has it wake and looking so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have what thou esteemest to be the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Oh, prithee, peace. I do all there is to become a man. Who does no more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then were a man. And to be so much more than you were, you would be so much more the man. The time, no place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. And they make themselves, they do unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to know. So no, love the babe that milked me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
And if we fail,
We fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, where to his long day's journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I, with wine and wassail, so convince memory the water of the brain shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenching nature lies as a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
bring forth men, children only. For thy metal should be composed of nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two in his own chamber, and use their very daggers, that they've done it?
Who shall receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamors roar upon his death?
I am settled. Bend up each corporal agent in this terrible feat. Away. Mark the time and the fairest show. False face must hide with false heart. There's no.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12. Hold. Take my sword. There is husbandry in heaven. Your candles are all out. Take thee that too. Heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's of air. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else would free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three wayward sisters. To you, They have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we should spend some words on that business, if you could grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall be honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger I see before me? Its handle toward my hand? Come. Let me clutch thee. Art thou fatal vision, subject to feeling as to sight? Or art thou a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee in a form as palpable as that which I draw now. Thou marshalest me toward where I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. My eyes have been made fools of the other senses. Or else, with all the rest, I see thee still on thy dudgeon and blade, gouts of blood that were not there before. There's no such thing. It's the bloody business that informs it in my mind, that informs it in my eyes. Now over half the world, nature seems dead. Wicked dreams of hues the curtain sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings. And withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howl his watch. Thus, his stealthy pace, like with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sour and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, as they may walk for fear that very stones pray to my whereabouts, and take the present horror of the time which now suits with it. By threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go. And it is done. Bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for that knell summons thee to heaven. Or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace! It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman that gives the stars good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack! I fear they have waked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, I laid his daggers ready, he could not miss him. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband.
I have done a deed. Did I hear the noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I,
Ha! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh and sleep, and one cried murder. They did wake each other. I stood and I heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
They're two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. They'd seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening to their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
Wherefore could I not say God or amen? I had much need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
Who cried thus, my lord? You do unbend your thoughts with this thinking so brain sickly of things.
Methoughts I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth doth murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleep of care. The death of each day's life. Sober labor's bath. Balm of hurt minds. Great nature's second course. Chief nourisher of life's feast.
What do you mean?
It still cried. Sleep no more to all the house. Bloms has murdered sleep. So Carter shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Let's go get some water and clear you of this filthy witness. Why did you carry the daggers from the place? Go. Carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think of what I've done. I'll not see it again. Dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are about pictures. Painted, tis a childhood eye that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I shall gild the sleepy grooms with blood withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Hark! Whence is that knocking? Why is it with me that every voice appalls me? Yeah, my hands are here. They pluck out mine eyeball. Oh, great Neptune's ocean, wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will make the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. Hark, there's knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chambers. A little water clears us of the steed. How easy is it then? Your constancy is lacking. More knocking. Put on your nightgown, lest occasion call us to be watchers. Be not so lost poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, twere best not to know myself. Wake Duncan with the knocking. I would thou couldst.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer hanged himself in the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Bring napkins in now about you. You'll sweat for it here. Knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith. There's an equivocator. He equivocated both scales against either scale. Committed treason enough, for God's sake, but could not equivocate to heaven. Now, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing of the French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at rest. What are you? But it's too cold here for hell. I'll devil porter it no more. Though I had thought to let in some of every profession that goes the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Undone! Undone! I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing to the second cock. And drink is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, it both provokes and unprovokes. It provokes desire, but it takes away performance. Therefore, much drink is said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and takes him off. It encourages him and discourages him. It makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him with a sleep and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. Though I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in, physics pain. And this is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today.
He does. He did appoint it so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion, confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake.
It was a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel tell it too.
Oh, horror! 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 Tongue nor heart cannot conceive, nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion, now made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke out the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What's that you say, the life?
Mean you his majesty?
Approach the chamber, destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo! Doublebane! Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up, up, and see the great doom's image! Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business of this hideous trumpet does parley the sleepers of the house? Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would never as it fell. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, the royal master's murdered!
What? Alas, what? In our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
And I died an hour before there's a chance I'd lived a blessed time. There's nothing serious in mortality. All's toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, the mere lees left in the barrel to brag of.
What is amiss?
Oh, you are, but don't know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of thy blood is stopped. The fountain has stopped.
Your royal father is murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all bagged with blood, as were their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon the pillows.
Oh, yet
They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
I do repent of the fury which I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
What man can be wise and amazed, temperate and furious in a moment? No man. There lay poor Duncan, his silver skin covered with his golden blood. Gashes, stabs, like a breach of nature, for ruin's entrance. And there, the murderers, covered in the blood of their bloody trade. A mannerly breach with gore, who could refrain that had a heart to love? And in that heart, courage to make one's love known.
Help me, heads!
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may make this argument for hours?
What should be spoken here? Were our fate hidden in auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence, against the undivulged pretense, I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall.
Well
Well,
contented.
What will... Let's not comfort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. All to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortunes shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there are daggers and men smiles. The near in blood, the near bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore, to horse, and let's not be dainty of leave taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft that steals itself when there's no mercy left.
10 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threatens this bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. Is it night's predominance or day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
It is unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hopped at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, thing most strange and certain. Beauteous and swift, the minions of their race became wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience as would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they hate each other.
They did, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see not.
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Bless the day, what good could they pretend?
They were supported. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition that ravens up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall on Macbeth.
Is already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No cousin all to wife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and friends of foes.
was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If truth come from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
There's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all been unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, with which hath been both prosperous and brave. In this day's council. I'll take tomorrow. Is far arrived?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper.
Fail
Go
not.
not my horse the better, I must become the borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Well, fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
Yeah, we hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, and not confessing their cruel parricide, but filling strange inventions in their hearers' ears. But of that tomorrow, then wherewithal we'll have cause of state craving us jointly. Aye, to your horse. Adieu, till you return tonight. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot. You commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 p.m. And to make society the sweeter, we shall keep ourselves to ourselves. Till then, God be with you. Sarah, a word with you. Attend those men to our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo's stick deep. And his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to safety. There is none but he, whose being I do fear. And under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon him, and bade me to speak to them. And prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head, they placed a fruitless crown and a barren scepter in my grip, hence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered. Put rancors in this vessel of my peace, only for them, my eternal jewel. Give it to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the line of Banquo kings. Rather than so, fit into the list. Champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Get to the door until we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your grace.
Well then, now, have you considered my speeches, and know that it was he, in times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought been our innocent self? This I made good to you. In our last conference, I passed in probation with you how you were born in hand, how crossed, the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul unto a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find yourself, your patience so predominant, Be so gospel that you pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever.
We are men, my liege.
Aye. In the catalogue, ye go for men. As hounds and greyhounds and mongrels and spaniels, curs, choughs, water rugs, and demi-wolves are all clipped by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift and the slow and the subtle and the housekeeper and the hunter. Everyone, according to their gift, which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, on the worst ranks of manhood sayest, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart, and love of us, whose, where our health is sickly in life, would be made perfect in his death.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do despite the world.
Not another, so weary with disasters, tug with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it to be rid on.
Both you know, Banquo was your enemy.
True, my
True,
lord.
man.
So was he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against the nearest of my life, and though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight, and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail at his fall, who I myself struck down, and thence it is that to your assistance I do make love, making the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command of us.
Though our lives count for naught.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour, at most, I'll advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace, which thought I needed to be clearer. And with him, leave no rubs or botches in the work. Fleance, his son, whose absence is no less material to me than his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, your grace.
Well, I'll call upon you straight. Abide with him. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Let the king know that I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Nought's had all spent, her desires got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than in destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone?
Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts on those that should have died.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close. Be herself. While our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frames of things disjoint. Both the world suffer. Ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, for we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace. The torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason's done its worst. Nor steel, nor poison, nor malice domestic, nor foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, my royal lord, sleep o'er your rugged looks and be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So shall I, love. And so I pray you present him eminence, both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while, that we must lave our honors in these flattering strings, make our faces visitors to our hearts, and disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and Fleance lives.
But in them nature's copy's not a turn.
There's comfort yet, they are assailable. Then thou be jocund. Ere the bat hath flown, his cloistered flight, ere Black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums, hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of that knowledge, dearest Chuck. Till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf out the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces the great bond which keeps me pale. Night thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents do their praise rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Bad things begun makes themselves strong by ill. So prithee, go.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth?
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers to us our offices and what we have to do, to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the later traveler apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses.
Give us a light there, ho!
Oh, then 'tis he. The others that are within the note of expectation already are in the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually, as all men do. From thence to the palace gates make it their walk.
Ooh, a light, a light.
'Tis he!
Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Oh, treachery! Fly, good friends, fly, fly, fly! The mace revenge! Oh, slay!
Oh! Who didn't strike out the light?
Isn't that the way?
There's but one down, the sun is fled.
We have lost the best half of our affair.
Let's away and say how much is done.
Ah, you know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, we bid you a hearty welcome.
Thanks, Your Majesty.
Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess, she keeps her state, but in best times we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. We'll drink a measure, the table round.
There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
Better he without than he within. But Banquo's dispatched.
Aye, my good lord. His throat is cut. That I did for him.
And thou art the best of cutthroats. But He too was good who did the same for Fleance, and if you did both, and our nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I else be perfect, as solid as the rock, as founded as the marble, as broad as the casing air. But now I am cribbed, confounded, confined, bound in by saucy doubts. But Banquo's safe.
And my good sir, safe in a ditch he lies with 20 trenchant gashes in his head, the least a death to nature.
Oh, thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's escaped has nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is often sold that is not vouched while 'tis making. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony, eating were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion waits on health and appetite on both.
May it please your highness sit.
Here now we are, country's honor roofed, where the grace and person of our Banquo present, well, might rather challenge for unkindness and pity for mischance.
His absence, my lord, lays blame upon his promise. Please your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is the place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord.
Ah!
What does it move, your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my lord?
Thou canst say it was me. Don't don't shake your bloody locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Pray your seat, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. The fit is momentary. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Pray you keep seat and regard him not. Are you a man?
I, and a bold one to look upon that which will appall the devil.
Oh, this is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. These maws and starts, impostors to true fear. They would well become a woman's tale at a winter's fire, authorized by her granddad.
Prison.
Shame! If, when all is done, you look like on a stool.
Brendan, see there! Look! Lo!
For shame.
What about you? Thou canst not. Speak. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury, our monuments with the maws of kites.
What? Quite unmanned in full.
If I stand here, I saw him.
For shame.
Blood hath been shed here now. In the olden time, ere a humane statue purged the good wheel. Aye, and since 2 murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear, time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die! Not rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crown, and push us from our stools? This is more strange than any murder is!
My royal lord, your friends do lack you.
I do forgive. Do not muse at me, my worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those who know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill bowl. I drink to the general joy of the whole table. And to our dear friend Banquo. What we miss, would that he were here. Yeah. To all and to him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Ah! Avaunt! And quit my sight. That earth ivy. Your bones are mouths, your blood is cold. There's no speculation in those eyes with which you glare at me.
Sit, worthy friends. Think of this as but a custom. 'Tis nothing other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? A broke style like the rugged Russian bear, or the armored rhinoceros, or the herded tiger, any form but that. My firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with a sword. If trembling I have it then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence! Hence! Oh, those shadow heads! The mockery. Why? In being gone, I am a man again. Oh, pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome like a summer cloud, without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe. Now, I think that you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine are blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Questions enrage him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move. Trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by magpies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest men of blood. What's the name?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which.
How sayst thou that Macbeth denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it, by the way, but I will send. There is not a one of them. In every house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the wayward sisters. More shall they speak. But now I am bent to know by the worst means, the worst. I am in blood, stepped so far that should I wade no more, returning would be as tedious as to go over. Strange things I have in my head. A will, it's a hand, which must be acted, or else they be scanned.
You lack the seasons of all nature's sleep.
Well, come, will's asleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate to fear. Once hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
With Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death, and I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms,
was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art, and which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I'm for the air, this night I'll spend, unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it comes to ground, and that distilled by magic sleights shall raise such artificial sprites, as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes for wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's cheapest enemy.
Come, Hecate, come, Hecate.
Hark, I am called. My little spirit sea sits on a foggy cloud and stays for me.
We lack but you, we lack but you.
I come, I come.
There's one come down to fetch his due. A kiss, a call, a sip of blood. And why thou stay so long I muse, since the air's so sweet and good.
What news, what news?
All goes still to our delight, either come or else refuse.
Now I am furnished for the flight, now I go, now I fly, mocking my sweet spirit and I. Come, let's make haste, you'll soon be back again.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only I say, things have been strange long. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead, and the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact. How it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents terror that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as an't please heaven, he shall not, that they should find what 'twere to kill a father, so should Fleance. But peace, far from broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the dew of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone, to prey upon the holy king, his aid to wake Northumberland and the warlike Seward, that by the aid of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again bring to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, do faithful homage, and receive high honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king, that he prepares for some attempt at war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did. And with an absolute "Sir, not I," the cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums, as who should say, you'll rue the time that clouds me with this answer.
And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this, our suffering country, under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Our beer cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone days and nights, has 31 sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first to the charmed pot.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a finny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wolf, bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork in a blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and an owlet's wing. For charm of powerful trouble, like hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf of the rabid salt sea shark. Root and hemlock digged in the dark. Liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of you slivered in the moon's eclipse. Nose of Turk and Tartar's lips. Finger of birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's chaldron for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and everyone shall share the gains. And now about the cauldron sing like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
Black spirits and white, red spirits and gray, mingle, mingle, you that mingle may. Round, around, about, about, all will come running, and all good keep out.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Open locks!
Whoever knocks.
How now? Black secret midnight hags, what's it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by all that which you profess, however you come to know it, answer me, though thou untie the winds and set them a fight against churches, though the yeasty waves bound up and confound navigation, though bladed corn lodged and trees blown down, though castles fall on their waters' heads and palaces and pyramids do bow their heads to their foundations, though all nature's germs do tumble together and until destruction sicken. Answer me when I ask of you.
Speak.
Demand.
What answer?
Say if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our master.
How called? Let me see him.
For in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh, grease that's sweating from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Oh, tell me, the unknown's power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth.
good caution, thanks. Now, his heart might feel right, but one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth. Oh, Macbeth. Macbeth. Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody bold and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man. For none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then let Macduff. What need I fear of thee? Yet, I'll make assurance, double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live. I might tell pale heart fear that lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What's this? Oh, but rise. Issue of a king with unspated round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree to unfix its earthbound root. Sweet boldness, good. Rebellious dead rise never till the wood of Burnham rise. Our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of life. Pay his breath to time and mortal caution. Yet my heart throbs to know one more thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sings the cauldron? What noise is this?
Show. Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down. Thy crown is where I see my eyeballs. Oh, and thy head is another gold-brown brow. It's like the first, the third. It's like the former. Filthy hags. Why do you show me this? Fourth? Start my eyes. What, will this line stretch over the crack of doom? Yet another, a seventh? I'll see no more. No. And then an eight appears. Where's a glass? It shows me many, many more. And I see some with twofold balls and treble scepters. Horrible sight. No. Now I see it's true that this blood Banquo smiles upon me and points to them as his. What? Is this so?
Aye, sir. All this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites. Show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, while you perform your antique round. That this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there.
What your grace's will?
Saw you the way out, sisters.
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed.
Air upon which they ride. Damned be all who trust them. I did hear the galloping of horses. Who's come by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye,
Time thou anticipated my dread exploits. Thy flighty purpose never overtook, unless the deed go with it. From this moment, to crown my thoughts with acts, Be it thought and done. Castle of Macbeth I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Put to the edge of the blade his wife, his babes, all those unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. No more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not if it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom, to leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansions, and his titles from a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little as the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further. But cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessings upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he is fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father is dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'st never fear the net, nor line, the pitfall, nor the gin?
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they are not set for. My father is not dead for your saying.
Yes, he is dead. And how will that do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, yet if faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swears are fools. For there are liars and swears enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
God help thee, poor monkey. But how will that do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you wouldn't, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, but in your state of honor I am perfect. I dread some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here, hence with your little ones. To fret you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you would be filled cruelty, which is too near your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now. I'm on this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometime accounted dangerous fully. Why then, alas, do I put up with womanly defense? To say I have done no harm? What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayest find
He's
him.
a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-eared villain!
Ah! What you egg, young fry of treachery.
Kill me, mother! Run away, I pray you!
seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face that it resounds, as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like syllable of dolor.
What I believe, I'll weigh. What I know, believe, and what I can redress as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He has not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may discern of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. What you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell, and though all things foul may wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? I pray, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeared. Fare thee well, Lord, I would not be the villain that thou thinkst, for all the space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of it. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think, withal, there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here, from gracious England, have I offer of goodly thousands. But, for all that, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country would have more vices than it ever had before. More suffer, and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
Oh, it is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confinements.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil, more damned in evils to top a Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there is no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desires all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne, and the fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold, the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many, as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice, that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more habit would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should compose quarrels unjust against the good and honest, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious roots than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. But do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable with other graces' ways.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, mercy, perseverance, lowliness, devotion, patience, fortitude, courage. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, enacting them many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland! Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. Oh, nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred? When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, stands accused, and does blaspheme his breed. Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatst upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff! This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this, upon myself. What I am indeed is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, good seaward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now, we'll together, and our chance at goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile.
Well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you?
Aye, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art. But at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil. A most miraculous work in this good king, which often since my here remove in England I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven, himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen, ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery, he cures. Hanging a golden stamp about their necks put on with holy prayer, and 'tis said, to the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this, he has a strange gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
See who comes here.
My countryman, and yet I know him not.
I am your gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us stranger.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself, it cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there seldom asked for who. Good men die before the flowers in their cap, dying ere they sicken.
Oh, relation. Too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age. Doth hiss the speaker each minute seems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
tyrant has not battered at their peace.
They were well at peace when I did leave
Be
them.
not a niggard of thy speech, Helga.
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Well, be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Good England has lent us old Seward and 10,000 men, a better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I have words that could match this comfort? But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern that? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it has some woe. Though the main part pertains to you alone.
Well, if it be mine, quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they knew.
Ah, I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered, to relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What, man, ne'er pull your hair upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said,
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of this great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. What? All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hell kite. All. But all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop.
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were so precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not play their part? Sinful Macbeth, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am. Not for their own demerits, but for mine. They'll slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Convert grief to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with my eyes, and the braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him, and if he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our lead. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I had seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed, yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
Great perturbation in nature. To receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
Oh, that, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise. And upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their scents are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damn it, Spot, out, I say. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! What, a soldier and a feared? What have we to fear when no one can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
Faith, if I had a wife, where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more that, my lord, no more but that. Marvel on this starting.
Go to, go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little head. Oh.
What a sigh is there? The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well, well, well.
Oh, pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands, put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you, Bank was buried. He cannot come out his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. I hear knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Affected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. Or needs she the divine and the physician? God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has made it, and amazed my sight, I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burning them for their dear causes wood to the bleed, and the grim alarm excite the mortified men. Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them, that way they're coming.
Who knows if Donalbain is with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file on all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first amendment.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsany he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others, that lesser hate him, do call it valiant fury. But for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of war.
How does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands? Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title loose about him like a giant's coat on a dwarfish thief.
Who then should blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself to be?
So march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly due. Meet we the physic of our sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our nation's physic, each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs, to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards burning.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnwood remove the Dunstan, we'll not taint with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man born of woman shall ever have power over thee. So fly, false saints, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt or taint with fear. Devil damn thee black. A cream-faced loon. I guess not that goose face.
There's 10,000.
Geese. Sir?
Soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overread thy fear, thy lily-livered boy. What soldier's batch? Death of thy soul, those cheeks, linen cheeks, are counselors to fear. What soldier's wayface?
The English force will please you.
Get thy face hence. I am sick at heart when I behold. Seaton, this push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen to the sea, the yellow leaf. That which should accompany old age, such as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I should not look to have. In their stead, curses, not loud, but deep. Mouth honor. Breath that the poor heart would disdain deny, and dare not. See,
What's your gracious pleasure?
what news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I will fight, till from my bones my flesh is hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses, raise the country, and hang all those that talk of fear. Give me my armor. How does thy patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled by thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Yeah, cure her of that. Cannot thy practice pick out a rooted sorrow? Erase from memory a mind-diseased memory, raised from the written troubles of the brain. Use some kind of oblivious antidote to cure the stuffed bosom. But pull up that perilous stuff that does weigh down the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it. Come on, put my armor. Give me my staff. See, send out. Doctor, the Thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land and find her disease. And purge it to a sound and pristine health. I would applaud thee to the very echo that would applaud again. Pull it off, and I say, what rhubarb, senna, or purgative drug? What scour these English heads? Hast thou heard of them?
Aye, my good lord. Your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death or bane, till Burnham would come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins! I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down the bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery and report of us.
It shall be done. We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. But where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. None now serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate. But certain issue, strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Hang our banners from the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh at siege to scorn. Here, let them lie, till famine and ache you eat them up. Were they not forced with those that will be ours? Raid, face them, brave, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that sound?
It's the cry of women, my good lord.
I had almost forgotten the taste of fear. Time were that my emotions would cool at the sound of a night shriek. My fellow hair would, at a dismal treatise, rouse and stir as if life were in it. I have supped full of horrors, direness, familiar with my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once stop me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps along its petty pace, from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. All our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's just a walking player. Poor shadow who struts and frets his hour upon the stage, then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to lose thy tongue. Thy story, quickly.
Gracious my lord, I shall report which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if not be so. Within this 3 mile may you see coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakst false, from the nearest tree thou hang alive till famine cling thee. Thou speak sooth, I care not thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, until Burnham wood do come to Dunsany. And now, a wood do come to Dunsany. Arm and out, if that which she avouches does appear. There is no flying hence nor tarrying here. Ring the alarm bell. Blow wind, come rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now, near enough. Your Levy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with our cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff, and we shall take upon what else remains to do, according to our order.
Very well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight. Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They tie me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like, I must fly. Fight the horse. What's he that was born of wood? That one. And such a one might appear, or not.
What is thy name?
Thou'st be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou speakest a name hotter than any in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a name more hateful to my ear.
Nor more fearsome.
Thou liest, thou abhorrent tyrant. With my sword I'll teach you the lie that you speaks.
Thou wast born a woman. Swords I laugh at. Weapons, that is scorn, when brandished by a man of woman born.
That way the noise is. Tyrant shall thy face! Thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched curds whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, what of greatest note seems bruited? Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle's gently rendered. The tyrants' people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on my own sword? But I see lives, gashes do better upon them.
Turn, hellhound! Turn!
Of all men else, I have avoided thee. Get thee back. My soul's too charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
Thou rulest later. As easily may the entrenchant air thy sword impress, as make me bleed. Let thy blade fall on vulnerable crests. I lead a charmed life that will not yield to one of woman born.
to spare thy charm. And let the angel who thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb, untimely ripped.
Cursed be the tongue that tells me thus, for it cows the better part of my men. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that do palter with us in a double sense. They bring the word of hope to our ear. And break it, I promise. I'll not fight thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have these, our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and underwrit, here may you see the tyrants.
I'll not yield, and kiss the ground at young Malcolm's feet, and be baited by the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would do come to Dunsane, and thou opposed, be of no woman born. I'll try the last. Lay on, Macduff, and let him be cursed who cries first. Hold, enough!
Would the friends we missed were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see, so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid the soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess proved in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow cannot be measured in his worth, for then it hath no end.
But had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
And then God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death, and so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. Hurrah! I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, who speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We will not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you, my thanes and kinsmen. Henceforth, be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be newly planted with the time, is calling forth our exiled friends abroad who fled the snares of watchful tyranny, or producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at school.
Hurrah!
Sigmund.
See what you missed.